All right, moving further into our rational expressions. Before we start solving equations with rationals in them, with rational expressions, we're going to work with multiplying and dividing them first. So we're going to do all kinds of. We're going to multiply, divide them. We're going to add and subtract them. We've simplified them. We're doing just about everything. Well, in order to do this, we got to think about some of our basic fraction rules. So, for example, let's say I have 3/4 times 16/18. Right? Remember, when it's multiplication, there's a couple of rules I can follow. I can simplify top and bottom if it's the same fraction. So, for example, here the 16/18, I can divide each by 2. That would become 8/9. And I could also cross cancel, right? So like this 3 and the 9, a 3 goes into both. A 3 goes into 3 one time. A 3 goes into 9 3 times. Same with the 4 and the 8. A 4 goes into both. A 4 goes into itself once. And a 4 goes into 8 twice. And then I just multiply straight across, and I would get 1 times 2 and 1 times 3. All right, so our basic fraction rules. That's exactly what we're doing here. We're just following those rules, but with polynomials. And in this case, monomials on top and bottom, and on both of these. So if we look here, so all you want to do is start canceling top and bottom and cross cancel, and then we multiply across. So let's think of some ways we can go here. Well, I always like to look top and bottom first. So do I see anything in this first fraction I can cancel? No, I got nothing. How about in this second fraction? Can anything cancel? I could do the 14 and the 49 if I wanted to, but I'm gonna cross cancel. I'm gonna wait on that. Otherwise, I got nothing else. Lost my times guy here. So now I start looking to cross cancel. I like dealing with my numbers first. So if I look at the 7 and the 49, well, 7 goes into both. 7 goes into itself once. So it's kind of just gone. I can put a 1 there to remind myself. And 7 goes into 49 7 times. What about the other cross cancel way, the 12 and the 14? Well, 2 goes into both. 2 goes into 12 6 times, and 2 goes into 14 7 times. All right. Now let's start working with our variables. Well, I got an x squared and an x. So an x would cancel in each of those. So that means the x is totally gone here, and one of these x's is gone, so I'm left with just one x. And how about the y's? Well, a maximum that would cancel for both is 1y, right? Because I got a y and y to the 4th. So 1y cancels here with 1y here, so I'm left with y to the 3rd. So I'm done with the red stuff. Done with the top left and bottom right cross cancel. And if I look at the other way, the z's, right? How many cancels in each of them? 1z. So 1z cancels here with 1z here, so I'm left with 2z's. So there we go. Now there's my new fractions. I'm going to rewrite this just so we can see it. So really we have 1x, or just x, over 6z to the 2nd times 7 over 7y to the 3rd. Well, if I notice, I have the 7 over a 7. So originally I could have canceled these guys right off the bat. But if I don't see that and I rewrite, that's okay. Some of you are going to take a lot of shortcuts here. Some of you have to rewrite. So the 7's cross cancel, and there's really a 1 left up top. And now it's just our multiplication rules. So it's x times 1, which equals x up top. And I have 6 times z squared times y to the 3rd. So we multiply my numbers. There's just one number, so it's just 6. And then z squared and y to the 3rd. We like to put them alphabetically, so y to the 3rd, z squared. So nothing actually that I combined there. And that would be our simplified form after we multiply. Whew, takes a little bit of work, doesn't it? So looking to cross cancel, try to come up with your best method. Some of you can simplify just great like that, doing the cross canceling up and down. Some of you like to multiply first and then start canceling. That takes you work with bigger numbers that way. I really like the way I just went through here. Try to simplify everything right away and then multiply. So let's look at some more examples. Well, oh boy. We got some binomials and some trinomials, which means we got some quadratics. So it looks like we need to factor before we can start canceling. So let's just factor everything. Can I factor this guy? Nope. Good to go. What about down below? You bet. We can pull out a 4. So 4 times b minus, well, pull out a 4. 12 divided by 4 is 3. Okay, so I replace that. Now looking up top, so b squared minus 4b plus 3. So we're going to get really good at factoring. So I need to look for factors of 3 that add up to negative 4. So a positive and a net, or no, two negatives, don't we? So negative 3 and negative 1, because I got to multiply to be a positive, and those add up to negative 4. So we're going to replace this with b minus 3 times b minus 1. All right, done there. And lastly, looking for factors of negative 30 that add up to negative 7. Oh, so let's see here. We got 5 and 6. I don't know if it doesn't work out. 10 and 3. 10 and 3. Which one do we have to make negative? Well, we want a negative 7, so I got to have the negative 10. So we got b minus 10 times b plus 3, a positive 3. So I'll replace that. So there's my new stuff. I could rewrite this whole thing, but hopefully you should start to see what it looks like. And I'll rewrite this first time. So we got b plus 3 over 4 times b minus 3 times b minus 3 times b minus 1 all over b minus 10 times b plus 3. So I'm going to rewrite it this time. Most of you should be able to just cancel right in there. So now look, can I cancel anything top to bottom? Looking at the left side. Nope, nothing cancels. Looking at the right side, nothing cancels. And one of the things is, I want you to watch out for something. If I had this, if I had b plus 3 over b minus 3, would anything cancel here? Some people try to do this. They think the b's cancel. You cannot do that. That is not allowed. The only cancellation that you can do is when it's multiplication. So if I had like 3b over negative 3b, then I can cancel the b's because it's multiplication. And obviously the 3 over negative 3 would be negative 1. But when it's addition or subtraction, I can't do it. The only reason I can do it in this case, if I do this, is because this is multiplication here, and this is an entire number b plus 3. That's why this b plus 3 cancels with that one, because it's an entire number b plus 3, and they're the same exact numbers with multiplication. So that takes a little bit to get used to. I know it's going to be kind of difficult, so I just wanted to touch on that before we get going. So I can't cancel top and bottom on the left side. What about the right side here? Nothing. So let's cross cancel. Well, if I look, this b plus 3 cancels with this b plus 3 down here, so that's good. And this b minus 3 cancels with this b minus 3 right here, so that's good. And nothing else cancels. So let's go ahead and just multiply straight across. So up top, this is really just a 1 up here. So 1 times b minus 1 is just b minus 1, just itself. And 4 times b minus 10. So 4 times b minus 10. And we're done. Nothing else cancels. So that's as simplified as I can go right there. Okay, it just takes a little bit of work, doesn't it? Okay, same type of thing, except we have division, don't we? But remember, we never ever divide fractions. We always change the multiplication and multiply by the reciprocal, right? So whenever you see divide, change the multiplication and multiply by the reciprocal. So I'm going to do that right away. So 8 over 20x cubed, change the multiplication and multiply by the reciprocal, which means we just flip that second fraction. And now we go through and do our canceling. So remember, start doing top and bottom, cross cancel, whatever you want. I'm going to go top and bottom here. So 8 and 20, 4 goes into both. 4 goes into there twice. 4 goes into there 5 times. Can I do top and bottom on the other one? Nope. So I'm going to start cross canceling. Let's see, 2 and 44. 2 goes into itself once. 2 goes into 44 22 times. 5 goes into itself once. 5 goes into 25 5 times. And lastly, 2 x's cancel. So these 2 x's are gone. These 2 x's cancel, and there's only just 1 x left. So now I got what's left in the green. So 1 times 5 up top over 1 times x times 22, which is just 22x. And we're done. Okay, so you're just following a bunch of our rules that we've learned. How about this? Well, same type of thing, except I need a fraction in order to multiply by the reciprocal. Well, I can put any number over 1. And now I can go ahead and change. So 3x plus 9 over x squared times 1 over x plus 3. So same thing. Always factor anything that you can factor, right? Let's get it all nice and neat before we start cross canceling. So we can pull out a 3 here. So that leaves us with x plus 3. Dividing each of those by 3. And if I take a look, now I can cross cancel the x plus 3's. Gone. Okay, and I don't think anything else cancels, so 3 times 1 is 3. And x squared, well, times 1, I guess, is really just x squared. Done. All right, so some of these, once you get used to it, they start going a little bit quicker. But, yeah, they can get kind of tough. Okay. Oh, okay, I'm going to fly through this one pretty good, just so we can see it, but same type of thing. Start with your division. Change the multiplication and multiply by the reciprocal. So multiplication, x minus 6 over x squared minus 25. And I got a bunch of binomials and trinomials, so they start factoring. So if I look, x minus 5 is good. Down below, we got a factor, so factors of 18 that add up to negative 9. And in this case, we got negative 6 and negative 3. So x minus 6 times x minus 3. Good. Over on the right side, x minus 6 is good. X squared minus 25. Can't factor anything out, but if I notice, I always look for difference of squares, which it is. So we've done this just a bit ago. So a plus and a minus, and we square root x squared, which is x, and square root of 25 is 5. So that changed. And now we go through our cross canceling. Or I can cancel up and down as well. Show my friends here. If I look, I got an x minus 5. That cancels with an x minus 5 over here. And I got an x minus 6 that cross cancels with an x minus 6. So I take a look, multiply across. 1 times 1 is 1. And x minus 3 times x minus x plus 5. They're just right next to each other. And there we go. Okay, the more you do, the more you get used to it, the better you're going to be. Last thing, this also kind of deals with our conversions. And we've done this before. 40,320 kilometers per hour to meters per second. Remember how we talked about this? You set up kind of that T-chart. 40,320 kilometers per means division. So let's write it as a fraction per 1 hour. And so now we start breaking it up. We start looking at the next fraction we want to go to. Well, decide which one you want to convert first. Do you want to convert kilometers to meters or hours to seconds? Let's go kilometers to meters. Well, how many kilometers or how many meters are in 1 kilometer? 1,000, right? There's 1,000 meters in 1 kilometer. You have to think back to your metric system. So I want to cancel the kilometer, so I got to put it on bottom. Because I want to cross cancel, right? So that means 1,000 meters goes up top. So far we've gotten rid of the kilometers. And we're into meters, that's good. How about hours and seconds? Well, I might need to go to minutes first. So I want to get rid of the hours, that goes on top. And how many minutes are in an hour? Well, 60. So now hours is gone, I'm into minutes. And now we want to go into seconds. And so how many seconds are in a minute? 60. So we have 60 seconds on bottom in 1 minute because the minutes got to cross cancel. So now the minutes are gone. Then we multiply across. So 40,320 times 1,000 times 1 times 1 on top. And that's pretty easy. I just 40,320, add your 3 zeros. And then on bottom we have 1 times 60 times 60, which is 3,600. And then we go ahead and divide our two numbers that we have now. And that leaves us with 11,200. And what was our new label? Meters per second. Okay, so just kind of following that T-chart. We've done that before, so hopefully we still have an understanding. So there we go. All right, it takes a lot of work. You got to take your time. Don't get sloppy. The more organized you are, the better you're going to be able to keep track of things.